Hello everyone and welcome to Channel 2S. Today's stream, if we theoretically ever get to it, will be completing the SFI Sentinel. However, first of all, we gotta fix the same internet issues that we had last time, because they still haven't left. So let's just see. So I have exactly 1 bar of connection at somewhere between 300 and 3000 kilobits per second, depending on when I look at the meter. YouTube seems anyway, let's see. Yeah, it's doesn't look terrible. I guess as long as it doesn't completely buffer, it's not too bad. Yeah, see, now it's buffering again. Okay. How do I do this? I could just push forwards the midweek stream. It's not like there's that many people watching anyways. Or I could try and figure this out now so that it's working for the weekend. I think what I'll do right now is I think we're just going to go ahead and push forward with the build, and then I'll figure out what's wrong here some other time. So welcome everyone to the stream. Got a little bit of sunlight coming in from the window. So today we're going to hopefully try and see if we can finish the SFI Sentinel. All right. What do you think if they sold Gundam tie-in kits in the West as fast food restaurants? Oh, so like the McTorrins from Bionicle. Yeah, I could see them doing that with like really cheap SDs, like just really like below X standard, like really basic, like 15-piece kits. Or at least I could maybe like 15 years ago. The thing with, I don't think like modern fast food places, because their prices are so high and their quality is so low and everything, they don't really do the type of like Happy Meal toys that you used to get in the 2010s or the 2000s. That's not as much of a thing anymore. They usually try to go for like really low cost items now. So I could see them having done that at a point in time in the past, but I don't think they would do that nowadays. I've not tried any of the Black Knight Squad kits, but I do really want to get the Shiva, was it called? The big white one that they're doing in a couple months. I definitely want to pick one of those up. So I need the head. Where's the head build? Right here. Okay. Yeah, I've almost everything from Gundam Seed Freedom, with the exception of the first couple Black Knights are not a must-buy for me, but basically everything else is. So I'm gonna put Sentinel there. White Runners, White Runners go up here. That one's just a color piece. That can go down there. That there. B is down here. That there. And the dark colored parts go up here. The white parts go here. That eventually. So this is how many pieces have just fallen off the runner into the box. Calera, yeah, Calera is the one that I'm looking at getting. This is how much of this kit just kind of fell off the runners, because they don't really have very good gate connections. Like the connection they have is fine, but they use, like, for a lot of these parts, they'll use one less connection than you'd see on a Bandai kit. So, for example, this piece right here looks like it's for the brow of the head or something. It's only connected on this one side, so if the runners get caught up on each other in the box, it's very easy for that to get pulled off. Which is ultimately not that big of an issue, however, it is something to keep in mind. Replace that with a gray one. Okay, to be fair, I kind of did, that's not accurate what I just said. Some of these gray pieces are ones that are replaced with yellow, but like these two pieces fell off. The shield piece fell off. It is not really ultimately that big of a deal, though. Did I hear that the Jin Zaki Warrior added in GB4? Yeah, they've been added for a while now. I think I mentioned that in my last video that I did on it. So I'm going to paint them in Seed Free and Black Knight armor. Yeah, there's a lot of really fun customs you can do with those. I'm really glad to see the Zaki Warrior especially, because that's one of my favorite grunt suits. So for starting with the head, we're going to start with the F-Runner here. Welcome everyone to the stream. Hope you guys can see me. Hope you guys can hear me. I've got about 50% dropped frames, so it kind of is what it is. I do have like a local recording of the stream that I'm making as well. So if worst comes to worst, I could just upload that instead of the VOD, or use it for the footage when I eventually make a video out of this, assuming I do. That. I need some B parts. Been so long, I don't remember which runners are which colors anymore. Um, 2 and 15 and 22. Hoping the new Godzilla kit will lead to release of the previous version of Godzilla. Yeah, I'd love to see some Godzilla models. That'd be really cool. And hey, if they want to do like a Godzilla and Shinden 2-pack, I would totally get that. Love to see some aircraft models with that Bandai level quality. I'm 13 and 12. Okay. Those I think are the gray runner? Blue runner. Can't wait to apply the faction symbol for my Black Knights in both those grunts and color them. Yeah. Yeah, the decal system in Gundam Breaker, I don't know if I was missing something, but it seemed like in New Gundam Breaker you weren't able to change the color of decals, and I always thought that was kind of odd. Especially considering it applied to basically every decal in the game was just kind of solid white, which meant that even though it had the F91 decals in the game, you couldn't recolor them. So they were just white, so you couldn't even use them in the correct colors on an F91, so I don't really know what was up with that. I might have just been missing something. Could have just had like a weird button shortcut to bring it up on PC that I wasn't familiar with. So I guess hopefully that's something they change for GB4. Oh, my GB4 builds will be so dumb, I can't wait, dude. Dude, same. Easily my #1 most anticipated game right now. So I really hope they give you enough parts to actually build 2 separate heads, and it's not an either-or situation where you have to assemble it one way or the other, because I'd kind of like if the 2 heads are just 2 separate pieces I can swap out, and it's not like a silver bullet situation where you have to permanently decide which way you're going to build it as you're building the head. D-Runner. That would be... D-Runner. D-Runner is the big blue one. Here we go. Okay. So they did like a little kind of anniversary events update stream for just the general Gundam franchise last night, or I guess it had been morning in Japan. And they gave us a little more info about apparently this G Gundam novel that we'll be getting at some point with that female character that they teased before that had like the big drill hair. So that's apparently what that's going to become. They're going to be taking the walking Gundam and they're going to kind of rework it as a static statue. So they're going to pose it with it like kind of down on one knee and reaching up towards the sky. And it's going to use the same armor. It's going to use the same armor, but it's going to have it's not going to have the movable frame anymore. And the shortest thing they mentioned was actually the one that excited me the most, and that was finally official confirmation from Bandai that they are in fact still working on Gundam Hathaway. So they didn't have anything new to show for it. They didn't really have a trailer or anything, but they did say supposedly they're still working on Hathaway too. So I was glad to hear that, just the confirmation that it is in fact being worked on. So that was nice to hear. Hey Noob Type, welcome to the stream. Good to see you. So I need to denub some of these. Oh my god, we're at like 60% drop frames now. Something over for Zaki Warriors, a palette cloned. Well, you're going to be able to mix and match, CJ, you're going to be able to mix and match the color schemes of literally anything. Like, they're going to do the Gundam Breaker mobile style color palette, so you can literally put any color scheme in any Gundam and it'll just kind of automatically switch between them. So you could basically mix together whatever color palettes you want. That's going to be really fun, just being able to quickly apply a color palette for a kit. And just have it automatically go to everything. That'll be really neat. Man, it's been like 5 minutes and I'm already sweating like crazy. My desk's right next to the window, so the sun is just blasting down on me right now. Actually, I could, because I have NVIDIA audio, I can actually turn the fan on and you guys won't hear it. No? There we go. Oh, that's better. That is better. There we go. Finally, that's a definite improvement. Probably going to get a trailer this year for the anniversary. I hope so. I really hope so. I do not want to see Hathaway get abandoned. Be getting time to sharpen this blade. Oh hey ID Monster, welcome to the stream. It's gonna be a bit choppy today. My internet is still completely fucked, but I'm gonna try and finish the SFI Sentinel anyways, just to get it over with. Unfortunately, this is a big part of why I don't stream as much now as I used to, is no matter how badly I want to, no matter how much cool stuff I set up to do, it ultimately doesn't matter because Spectrum can just say fuck you and nothing gets done. So, not super happy about that. Not really happy at all. Is that a tab? I don't know. I'm not going to cut it just to be safe. Some Nas blocks we on Gundam Breaker 3. That's awesome. Purple, Blue Wolf, Green, Scarlet, Red Shoulder, Spike, Zaki Wars. Yeah, you could probably do all of that. I'm sure they'll have a lot of different custom color combos in the game. Because they decided to have Fumina in the game, can you do blackface? Yes, you can, because she is in the game. You can make all the tan Fuminas you want. You could also do the same with Mei. MJ's actually just bullying me. Last time I said I was looking for a Strike Rouge, and then he puts out a review of it. Yeah, he's had that in the works for a while. He had to postpone it because he ran out of white paint, but he's apparently got the video up now, so I'll have to check that out when the stream's done. Man, I'm gonna have to get a... I was gonna say entry grade strike, but I might get the high grade strike because the packs will work just as well with it and it has the better joints. But I really wanna make a perfect strike now that we finally have, after what, 22, 24 years, we finally have a full set of high quality striker packs at retail, or even available at all. We've got the launcher, the sword, the ale strike. They're all in the option set line. They're all coming out, and everything I've seen of them so far makes them just look absolutely fantastic. In a hurry up with finishing Hathaway. If it takes too long, the original English voice cast from the first movie might not be available. I don't think that'll be an issue. I think that's the least of the problems that would arise from them waiting too long to make the sequel. Yeah, exactly. It's Sunburnt Fumina. Yeah, and Cash. Oh yeah, color scheme for Black Knight armor. Yeah, that seems like set of colors from the drone head Jenner, purple, blue wolf. Yeah. Okay. Cool. Funny thing about that whole sunburnt thing, apparently the words for sunburn and suntan in Japanese don't actually have a distinction between them. And I learned this when I was looking at I think it was on Mandrake, because if you've ever been on Mandrake, you know they have some really jank machine translations, and sometimes they just do not get things right at all, or they'll do like, they used to like use the Japanese names for like certain Pokemon so they wouldn't show up when you search for them and stuff like that. But I found that if you had like an anime figurine that had a tan lines variant, for some reason the machine translation would call them like burn marks. So every time I saw one of those figures, I'd be like, wait, was this in like a house fire or something? Why does it have burn marks? But no, that's literally just what they call them. That's literally just what they call tan lines. They call them burn marks. So you can in fact make a sunburned Fumina. In any game with this level of customization, you can be awful shit, but don't. Oh yeah, if you wanted to, I'm sure you could make some real crazy stuff in Gundam Breaker if you were so inclined. There's anytime you have a customization system, there is incredible potential for horrific creations. So, did I cut out the M runner? I don't think I did. I think I still need the M parts. And, oh, there goes another one of these in the loose parts pile. M runner, I think, is the one that has the color pieces on it. Yeah, it's this one. The 13 is this one here. And And then I need 12, which is going to be the visor, which is a beautiful metallic green. Just finished building my Sentinel. It's an awesome kit, but has the strangest texture ever. Yeah, they like molded it with a matte finish basically on the plastic. So it's got like that kind of rough texture to it. It's interesting because it felt weird at first, but I kind of like it. The matte finish on the plastic sections combined with the shine of the metallic parts really give this a high quality feel. Even with no paint on it, this feels like a metal build. It's got that really high quality premium feel to it. And I remember I said at the beginning I was very critical of the metal frame, and to an extent I still am. Like the hip joints on this thing, I don't know if you can hear this through the mic because I have a pretty aggressive noise gate, but they are scary tight. Like you have to twist, especially the one on this side, you have to twist it so hard it feels like you're going to bend the plastic. But it's a metal peg in there, so hopefully it's okay. Worst case scenario, I can just widen the hole a bit and it'll be all right. This arm seems to be kind of sliding off a little bit. There we go. Yeah, I really have some doubts about the longevity of the joints on this just because of the whole metal plastic hybrid construction, but hopefully it'll turn out okay, and whatever problems it has can be easily amended. Oh, hey, MJ, welcome to the stream. We were just talking about your Strike Rouge video earlier. Already got, so let's start with which piece goes forward? I guess this way? Yeah, it goes this way. Okay. It's keyed, so it only goes one way. I'm gonna get the EG, give the HG, gonna get the HG strike, give that pack to my dagger L, and use the EG packs for the HG. Okay, yeah, that would be a good way to do it, because you're gonna have an extra, L striker pack anyway, so might as well put it to good use. Need a B-22. That would be a long piece. Okay, so that's going to be the hinge for the... That's going to be the hinge for the visor. Canning is essentially burning, yes, but I think it's just interesting that Japanese doesn't appear to have a linguistic distinction between them. They really should make a Strike E and Strike Noir EG. I don't think they do with them as entry grades, because they don't really seem to want to bloat out the EG line too much, and they're really keeping it to the major suits, because one of the things with entry grade is it is supposed to be entry-level kits for beginners, and one of the things the beginners don't want to do that a lot of more experienced Gundam fans maybe don't fully appreciate is that someone who's beginning the hobby doesn't want 13,000 different options for their first kit. They just want 5 or 6. So the entry grades we have right now are probably most of the entry grades we're ever going to get. We might see a couple more. We might see like an Exia, I feel, is a pretty good candidate. They might try to do maybe like a Unicorn or something, like some other very major lead Gundam, but I don't think they're going to go too much deeper than that because they really want to keep that lineup simple so it doesn't overwhelm beginners who don't really know a whole lot about Gundam. With that said, though, I think really any new kit of the Strike Noir I'd take at this point, because the Master Grade's okay. It's all right, but it is using that old Master Grade Strike mold. Let me just give this tab a trim. Are the striker packs, even though they're meant for the EG, can work on the old HGC and the RUP? Yes, they do. It is fully compatible with all of them. That is why I'm considering getting the high grade over the entry grade, so I can use the better quality strike body. I think it was USA Gundam Store that said they'd be getting an HGC Strike Rouge in the third quarter. Yeah, it should be getting reprinted soon. I'm not surprised they'd re-release it, seeing as they just did the option parts for the striker packs. I was able to get the Re-100 Shokyu, MG Outframe D, and HG Phantom Gundam. Nice. Those are some good P Bandai kits. More F90 kits. Nice. Where is... Here's B. I trimmed that? I trimmed it. Oh. Well, that's kind of disappointing. So, they molded the detail for the sensors on the piece, but then the part that goes over it is metallic instead of clear, so you don't even see them. Like, this really should have been a clear green piece, because then you'd actually be able to see the details underneath it. That's kind of a bummer. Got an HD fan who's been sitting in a box unbuilt for like 2 years. I've got way too many kits that are like that, dude. So many models that have just spent years and years sitting unbuilt. Okay, so there's that visor. Forever hidden, never to be seen again. G22. When was that? G22. Oh, it's this piece. Heard the Perfect Strike Freedom HD was redecorated in Strike Rouge version? Yeah, they did. They made it's literally just called the Perfect Strike Freedom Rouge. They made it for the Metaverse line. It actually looks a little bit better than the standard one, in my opinion, because you have a much more unified color scheme. Instead of the sort of tricolor hodgepodge that you have with the standard Perfect Strike, they recolored both the base body and all the striker packs, so it has one consistent color scheme. It's actually quite a nice looking kit. Although that's not based off the Strike Gundam, that's actually based off the Strike Freedom still. They just very heavily retooled it until it looked like a Strike Gundam. Do all Earth Alliance mechs count as ground types, or when they miss out on the jet strike? I have no idea. I have no idea what the technical classification is. I would assume they're just general purpose mobile suits like the GM is. The Burger Boy torch, I'm assuming that was that new one that they showed in the magazine with the big booster legs. I mean, it looks fine. It's not something I'd ever really want a kit of, but I feel like they're probably going to make one anyways. I don't know if the EX model Skygrasper works with the new launcher and sword parts. I don't know if they would have planned for compatibility with those, but the old no-grade launcher and sword striker parts, I think, were compatible with that Skygrasper, and they were also compatible with the HGCE strike, I believe. So if that was the case, then it stands to reason that anything that's backwards compatible to the strike is probably also going to be backwards compatible to that Skygrasper. But I don't think they would have made them specifically with that combination in mind, so it's possible you can't actually combine them. Metal Build Strike Noir with the lightning backpack looks awesome. Yeah, it does. Metal Builds look so cool. But they are very, very expensive. And the crazy part is, it's not just a matter of cost, it's a matter of getting one in the first place, because a lot of those figures sell out crazy fast. They must only make like 15 or 20 of some of them, or maybe not that low, but they clearly make them in much smaller production runs than traditional Gundam figures, because those things sell out so fast. And I refuse, there's no way there's that many people that are paying $300 to $400 for a giant metal Gundam. They definitely underproduce them. Which makes sense, because you wouldn't want, for an item that expensive, you would not want to have any overstock left at all. You would want to make sure, absolutely, that you sell through it. Gone through nearly 2/3 of my current backlog. Hope to build at least 2 more kits before the end of the month. Yeah, that's a good pace to work through it. Okay. One HGC Skygrasper. Honestly, I'm amazed we got the real grade. I think that real grade Skygrasper is a really cool kit, and we shouldn't have gotten it as a real grade. It doesn't make sense for them to have done it as a real grade, but I'm so glad they did, because that is an awesome model. When are they going to announce the retool of the MGEX Strike Freedom as the Type 2? I don't know, but man, isn't that such an easy retool? Wouldn't that be such easy money for them? And the MGX Strike Freedom sells really well, because it's not a unicorn situation. With the unicorn, it's really weird that they've never made any of the different versions of the unicorn out of that mold. They never gave us an MGX Banshee, they never gave us an MGX Phoenix. But I think a big part of that is just that the unicorn sold just absolutely terribly. It took ages for the first production run of that thing to sell through. Every single store had it clearance down like 30% off, 40% off. They were going on the aftermarket for like 16,000 yen. Bandai really messed up with that kit in terms of the price point, and they got burned pretty hard by it. However, MGX Strike Freedom, that kit has been selling super well. It consistently comes in and out of stock of most stores. It sits mostly around MSRP on those stores. I've never really seen it get put on sale lower than like 180-ish. It goes for about the same on the aftermarket. That is a really well-selling kit that people seem to like. So, especially with something like the especially with something like the Strike Freedom Spec 2, where it's basically just a normal Strike Freedom, I think that would be a really smart move for them, because people would buy it just because it's Strike Freedom if they just want a normal one and they don't care about the small differences between the Spec 1 and 2. And they buy it if they want specifically the Spec 2 from Freedom. It's kind of a nice general purpose version to do. In fact, if they hadn't already made an MGX Strike Freedom, I think it would have been a really smart move for them to make an MGX Strike Freedom Spec 2 from the get-go as just the normal version of the Strike Freedom at MGX, because, you know, it's so close. You know, with the level of stylization and exaggeration that goes on in the MGX line, it would look close enough to a standard Strike Freedom anyways. And then you could still get the Mighty variant on top of that. The Torch is getting a kit, release details TBA. Okay, I wasn't sure if that was a kit confirmation or not. The way the pictures looked, it seemed like it was just one of those custom magazine builds. But I guess sometimes with like they've done that before, right? Like with the EX Impulse and the Camphor Schwer, I think they announced that they were making those as kits simultaneously with when they revealed them in the magazine. Torch looks like a build series design. I don't think it looks like a build series design. I think a build series design would have a little bit more of a creative like spin on it than that does. Like, that's literally just the Burger Boy with like extra boosters. With a build kit, there'd be some sort of fun spin that they put on the design. I think it would be a little more creative than that one. Now we just wait for the Metal Build 1.5 Gundam on 7.5. Are you talking about a 1.5 of the RX-78 or the 1.5 Gundam from 00? Because a 1.5/Reborn's Gundam Metal Build would be so cool. Because they could do the Reborns, that 1.5. They could do the Reborns, like, what is it, Reborn Cannon's Origin or whatever it's called. That is so in line. That is so in line with the type of stuff they do as metal builds. They're always doing those weird 00 variants. And it's Metal Build, and it's 00. They can just make shit up. They can make like 5 more variants of the Reborn's Gundam. And like, who's gonna stop them? What's a kit you want Bandai to do a... I can't see it past the little icon, but I'm assuming that says MG of that they haven't so far. I would really like to see a Master Grade Gold Frame of Matsumina. I think it's kind of insane that Astray mold has been around for over a decade at this point. In fact, no. It's been 15 years officially. It's been 15 years since that Master Grade Astray mold came out, and we've never gotten an Matsumina out of it. I cannot believe that Bandai just left that on the table like that. That is easily my most wanted Master Grade. There are others that I would like to see as well. We were just talking about the Reborn's Gundam. That's another pretty high up Master Grade for me. The Akatsuki is one that I'd like to see done officially, even though we do have a pretty good one from Dragon Momoko. And the other really big Master Grade that I'd like to see is the Savior Gundam. I think the Savior Gundam is a really weird gap in seed, and it'd be really nice to see that as an MG. Apart from Gunpla, Transformers, video games, book reading backlog, my main goal is try and get the Blu-rays for Urei Yatsura. That is a really old anime. That is like one of the OGs. Most of the movie and the complete series have been released, but unfortunately Beautiful Dreamer is out of print. Well, if the rest of it's in print, I would assume someone holds the rights to the series right now, so I'm sure they'd be able to re-release that if they feel inclined to do so. Can the Jet Striker work on the old Seed gun barrel? I would assume so. I think they use the same like circular peg striker pack connection. I can't say for sure though, but if you look it up on Dalong or Schizophonic, there's probably going to be something in the gallery where they show what the connector looks like, and as long as it's got that one single round peg in the middle, they should be cross-compatible. And if not, there's a lot of build custom sets that come with all these different adapters for adapting one type of backpack to another, so you can always find a way to make it fit. Bandai doesn't seem to understand that the seed kits are popular as I think the unicorns. Oh no, they know the seed kits are popular. They are very aware of how popular the seed kits are. So I would not be surprised if we see something out of that MG Strike Freedom mold at some point. In fact, Part of me wonders if a big reason for why we got Seed Freedom in the first place was because they wanted to make actual variants of some of the major Gundams from Seed. And you might say, yeah, no shit, they always want to sell more kits. But no, really, think about it. For basically every major Gundam in Seed, Freedom, Justice, Strike Freedom, Infinite Justice, those big major main character units, anytime Bandai makes a model of them, it's basically one and done because they don't really have any official variants. There's no variations of the Freedom Gundam you can do. There's no variations of the Strike Freedom, no variations of the Justice. But with Gundam Seed Freedom now, they can make a Justice and an Immortal Justice. They can make a Strike Freedom and a Mighty Strike Freedom. It's opened them up to make a lot more variants every time they do a kit based off one of these Gundams. Which was great, because they didn't really have a lot of variants before. Other problem with the MJX Unicorn being reused for Banshee Phoenix the LEDs? Not really, they could change the LED colors pretty easily. 00, they're showing at the Metal Build Festival. Okay, so they've already teased it. Alright, well that'll be cool. That'll be really cool. I would love to see how they adapt that for the Metal Build line. 1.5 Gundam and Zeta Gundam. Okay, Zeta Gundam, interesting. If they do a Metal Build 1.5, they do the 1 first and the 05 pack separately. Yeah, unfortunately I could see them doing that. I will buy the Debon MG 1.5 Gundam if they're base enough to do it. I'm sure they will. Although actually maybe not. But Debon's fallen weirdly behind in doing their Metal Build clones. I don't think they ever did one for the Crossbone Gundam. I think the last one they did was the Gundam F91, which is quite a while ago. Okay, so you go on top of that. Okay. There. That seems not too bad. That little face. Look at this guy. Look at this dude. Too bad that's not clear plastic, though. That would have been really nice. It's so obviously designed for clear plastic, too. They should have done it. Oh well. Oh well. Okay, that is a nub. I thought it was. Injection mark. You need to make any kit of the Alvatron. The Alvatron has, I think, one Robot Spirits figure and a Converge figure, and that is literally it. It is for the main villain, final antagonist of 00 Season 1, it is a weirdly underrepresented mobile suit. Even in other forms of media, like a lot of the Gundam games skip over the Alvatron whenever they have the 00 characters. It's just kind of really forgotten about for some reason. Excited for the Zawarathon P Bandai since they're definitely doing Bilbine. Yeah, they're really expanding out some of those non-Gundam Sunrise lines a lot more than I was expecting them to. I just looked at the review of that. I can't remember the name of it, but that one suit, that purple suit from Elgheim that they just put out a kit of, that is a really, really nice model. And I don't know that much about Elgheim outside of what's in Super Robot Wars, but man, that is a nice looking kit. That is a really nice looking kit. I think that's for the other form. Yeah, that's for the command head. We're not going to build that right now. But it's good that we have this, because that means you do have the parts for both styles of head. So, F20 is this piece, I believe. Yes. Yeah. Is that it? Is that it? That doesn't look right. There's a huge gap there. I don't think there's supposed to be a gap there. Yeah, maybe there is. Maybe there is. Okay. I'll trust them on this one. Oh, I gotta grab some more pieces. E runner is the little gray runners. Nope, those are the H runner. E runner. Here's the E runner. Okay, so it's just this little end cap piece. They take either the sweet time remastering them or go with remaster anime or make stuff in HDC with modern engineering. They make a lot of seed kits. They definitely do not neglect Gundam Seed. And I'm honestly glad to see it because Gundam Seed has probably some of the best mechanical design in Gundam. Like, yes, they're flashy, yes, they're over the top, but man, they make such good kits though. When you have a design like the Strike Freedom or the Ale Strike Gundam, they just work so well as a model kit. They look cool, they look flashy, they're like the centerpiece of your collection. And there's so many suits like that in Gundam Seed. And tons of really cool MSV variants too, so it just makes sense for Bandai to keep making them. I've been ranting about an MG Amatsu Mina should have been a kit forever. Yeah, it should have been a kit forever ago. It's a basic model for them to do, and they've never done it. They've never ever done it. Pretty much they stopped doing metal build kits. Yeah, that's unfortunate. Those were pretty cool. I much prefer their metal build style kits over the ones that were just straight bootlegs, because those are kind of boring. Like, yeah, it's like whoop-de-doo. I can get a Master Raid Dynamez for $15 less than the Bandai one with crap quality. What a deal. And I get it. There's like places in the world where the price difference between them is more extreme, but if you're in America, it does not make any sense to buy just straight bootlegs of Bandai kits. It makes no sense at all. You're not saving very much money and you're getting a much worse quality product. I'm still butthurt we haven't gotten the GM cannon. I mean, we got the Origin one that was kind of close, but it's not quite the full MSV cannon, no. Dumbfound took Bandai 6 years after the narrative movie to an MG. That doesn't surprise me at all. That's just standard practice for Bandai now. It took them 5 years to make a Master Grade Barbatos. It took them 6 to make the narrative. The Full Armor Gundam came out pretty quickly after Thunderbolt, but that's because the manga had been around forever. Bandai just does not make Master Grades for modern shows. They've been extremely adverse to that ever since Gundam Age, and now anytime there's a new show, they are not going to make any Master Grades for it until several years have passed and they can accurately gauge the success of the show. They do not want to take risks. They do not want to risk making a kit like that for a show that isn't going to do well. So we are probably not going to be seeing a Master Grade Aerial until at least like 2026, 2027 at the earliest. That's what happened to the Age MG disaster. Band is afraid. Yep, that's exactly what it is. That's exactly what it is. Age MGs get more reprints than other things. Very recently they do, yes. In recent years, they've warmed up a little bit more to the idea of doing Age MGs. They've done stuff like the Full Glanza. They're starting to turn around a bit on Gundam Age. Where's the third piece that I need? It's F23. This piece? No. You go here. Yeah. There you go. And then F23. I don't even remember coming across an F runner. B, A, B, E, K, O, J, B, C, N, N, B, O, H, M? Oh my god. You've got to be kidding me. You've got to be kidding me. They did it again. Remember how I said it was really weird that there was molded detail underneath the visor, even though it's it's not clear plastic? Well, guess what? There's 2 fucking M runners. One's metallic, one's clear. They made absolutely zero mention of this anywhere in the manual. They did not say anything about there being clear versions of these parts. So I've built 95% of this kit using the metallic sensor pieces when I would have much rather used the clear ones. Okay, well, I guess we're disassembling the head now. Age gets way more reprints than the Master Grade Goku. Yeah, because no one really wants to buy the Master Grade Standard Goku. It's not nearly as popular as the Command versions. Like, there's some people that want it. I've met, like, one person in my life that was really hyped to build it, but there's really not that many people that get that excited over it. And I know you guys are out there. I know you're probably going to say something in the comments after you hear me say that, but the reality is you guys are a extreme minority. Biggest fumble Bandai did with Modern Seed was making Strike Dagger P Bandai and the Dagger L retail. Yeah, that was a weird move. That was a really weird move, especially since they already did a grunt suit from Destiny with the Gundam. So if they did the Strike Dagger, they could have had a grunt from Seed and a grunt from Destiny, and you could kind of flesh out the lineup a little bit more that way. I can get a crap quality Dovin Wolf from Bandai prices, but goddamn will Bandai not sell it. Yeah, they've not re-released that Dovin Wolf in so long. Did I see ads for Headbutt Enemy with the Beamhorn? Yes, I did. Very carefully pry this apart. Okay, so now I can pull the metallic part off. $12 for an 85% is good Jim Spartan's worth? Yeah, I guess. I think that kit is good enough that it's worth like the $30, $35 that it goes for in the P Bandai shop. Alright, so now we get the clear part. They really didn't do a good enough job of clarifying what runners do and don't come with this kit. I can't believe they don't have anything in the manual to tell you, hey, by the way, there's clear and metallic versions of these pieces. Hey, by the way, there's yellow and gray versions of these pieces. But there's no reference to it at all in the manual, at all. They just let you figure it out on your own after you've built half the kit. Okay, well actually, I was gonna say this looks so much better because you can see the detail underneath it, but there's like these giant molding boogers on each side of the part, so it actually kind of looks worse. Yeah, I do not like those giant air bubbles on both sides of the piece. That's really ugly. Okay, I guess we're using the metallic parts after all, because the quality of that particular clear piece, at the very least, is leaving much to be desired. Yeah, I think we'll stick with the metallic parts. And yes, MJ, again, once again, they had an extra runner in the box that they made no mention of. So I think because there's like those giant circular molding marks on the clear parts, because those don't look very good, I think I'm going to stick with the metallic ones. If the clear parts were better quality, though, I would have switched them all out. Shark Colors seems so mid next to the MP. Hard disagree, man. Shark Colors is awesome. Although the Gatto colors were even better, and Johnny Raiden colors at the absolute top. MP Go-Go color scheme is one of the best out there. It's gray and green. I'm not a huge fan of the color combo. It's okay, I guess, but it's just kind of blah. What am I missing? This. How long do we have to wait for Turn X to be reprinted? Until the Heat Death of the Universe, apparently, because the only time that's been reprinted in recent memory was during peak COVID and as a Gundam base exclusive, so it might as well have never been reprinted in the first place. The only person who likes every dagger besides the strike dagger. Well, I mean, the strike dagger is the basic form, so it's always going to be one of the more popular ones. I have no idea why they didn't release it at retail. The more I delve into the seed MSV Gundams, the more I want to replicate them in HD. Oh yeah, there's some really cool designs deep in MSV that just don't get kits. Like, now that we have those new models of the Raider, Calamity, and Forbidden, there's some really crazy looking MSV versions of those they could do. And I'm not just talking about the Sword Calamity, I'm talking about, what was it, Rot Forbidden? I think it was like Rot Forbidden, Blau Calamity, and then something else. There's this really crazy trio of the druggy suits that just look absolutely wild, like doubled up and quadrupled up weapons, just super over the top, crazy looking designs. And they would make really cool full mechanics kits. Any rumors of the Murasame Kai's retail? No rumors, confirmation. It is straight up a retail kit. And are we getting the mass production Gilgig Menace? We haven't seen confirmation yet, but I'm sure it's going to happen eventually. Even if you only see it for like 3 frames in the movie. Third-party instruction manuals usually lack, with the one that surpassed Bandai's with Sky Defender. Yeah, the manual itself is fine. They're clearly communicating the parts you need, the runners you need. All they had to do was just clarify, hey, by the way, there's 2 versions of this runner, and there's 2 versions of this runner. And that's all they had to do. Just a little disclaimer at the beginning saying there's 2 colors for these 2 runners, use them at your discretion. That's all they had to do. It would have been fine. Everything would have been okay. But no, they had to go and just leave it a mystery so you don't figure it out until halfway through the build. Yeah, I'm going to stick with the metallic parts for this, though. I'm so deep into the build at this point that I might as well. So that piece could have been clear. These pieces could have been clear. And that's actually it. And I guess both of those, but those actually look fine as metallic parts. I'm okay with those. I'm okay with those. And honestly, even the sensors in the head and the visor look pretty okay as metallic. So I'm overall not as mad about this as I was about the yellow parts. I'm okay with just going all metallic for the rest of the build. I'm going to be doing the weapons when I'm done with the head AAA. I'm going to try and see if I can get it done today. Happened to build the Sentinel right after building some Hazel kits. They go together so well. Oh yeah, this thing looks super advanced of Zeta. It's really got that Titans Test team look to it. You know what else would look good with this? A Sisqueed. Like, if any third-party company or Bandai themselves out there wants to make a 1/100 Sisqueed, that would look so good with this model. There. So, I need the piece that I wasn't able to find before. That was the F runner. I need like a hanging rack I can... Oh, it's this runner. It's literally right here. It's literally right here. I need like a hanging rack that I can like hook these over so they're all easily accessible above my head instead of just being in giant piles. I think I've seen people do that before. It looked like it worked pretty well. And yeah, they just reprinted all the MG Hazels. You can get them... I believe pre-orders are going up tonight on the USP Bandai shop, so if you want to order any of those, now's the time to do it. Finished building the MG Death Site this past weekend, now working on the IWSP. Nice. That IWSP is super cool. So, where do you go? Big side or small side goes up? Small side goes up. Okay. It's a really weird construction. You're just supposed to rest this piece in this little notch here, and then when the other piece goes around it, they're just sort of loosely holding it in place. I mean, it works. Like, once these two pieces are together, there's no way this is coming out. It's just a really strange construction. All right, so let's take a look at this head mechanism. There it is, with the visor down. And there it is with the visor up. The visor up, visor down, visor up. I really like how this looks. And also, they actually give you a symmetrical set of antenna. So you can either have it with the two angled blades, or you can have it with the two straight antenna. And personally, I'm actually kind of leaning towards the two angled antenna. I kind of like the look of that. So I think I'm gonna pop this piece out, and I'm gonna replace it with the angled version, because I really do like how that looks. And I like the option for customization. The fact that this has so many alternate parts is genuinely cool. I just wish the manual would communicate that better. It's great to get options for yellow and gray parts. It's great to get options for clear and metallic parts. It's great to get options for how you want the kit's antenna to look. Just tell me in the manual while I'm building it so I know that I have that option in the first place. I'm not so sure about that anymore. I think I'll switch it back to the antenna. Usually the clear parts are first release special bonus. It's often very much advertised in China social media prior. They don't put in the manual because future releases won't have it. That could be why they did it. That could be a part of it. After getting the HD Duel and Buster videos done, I had to take a break from Seed before I potentially get the Type 2 and Sword Launcher. Man, that Infinite Justice Type 2 looks so good. I was not planning on getting that kit, but I started seeing some in-hand pictures of it, and man, it's just an Infinite Justice with an X-Wing backpack, but it looks so good. That kit looks so good, guys. I think I'm going to have to basically... I might as well at this point just preemptively pre-order everything that comes out from Seed Freedom, because I'm basically going to end up buying every single one of them anyways. So why not just pre-order them and get it out of the way? Let me just fix my camera a little bit. There we go. Just built Eternal Star Glory, and it looks beautiful. Yeah, that's a really cool kit. I might actually get that after I finish the Sentinel as my second third-party kit. I missed the first production run, but that's okay, because I actually kind of like the colors on the standard release a bit better. They did tease they're going to do a full mechanics the Eclipse version of the Raider. Yeah, I saw that, but after seeing the design, I don't think it's anytime soon. Yeah, the new designs for Seed Eclipse are okay, but I really would like to see them do some of the existing Seed MSVs. Aoshima made a Titans-colored Sisquid. They mislabeled it as a 1/100 Gunbuster? The what? What are you talking? Aoshima made a Sisquid that they mislabeled as a Gunbuster. Are you serious? Is that real? That is bizarre. You'd have to send me like a link to like pictures or something of that, because I've never heard of that kit before. I summoned diverse Minovsky particles? No, my ISP is just garbage. I have a good bit rate, but the actual connection itself is super intermittent. MJ, Fresno's in America, their currency is US dollars. Why we never get MGs, the original wing kits, not popular enough in Japan? Yeah, pretty much. That was back when the wing master grades came out. That was before Bandai was really cared that much about the international market at all, and that extra bit of marketing push that they get from being the Katoki versions of them from Endless Waltz was enough to justify them getting master grades, but the TV wing kits really weren't. You know, the wing Gundams, a lot of the popularity they have in Japan comes from the Katoki redesigns and not so much the actual anime, because the wing anime itself, it's mildly popular in Japan, but it's not super popular. Yeah, Cat, by original, he means the TV versions instead of the Endless Waltz versions. Okay, so the neck's pretty straightforward. It's just two clamshells that clip together. Basically just an HD neck. There we go. Pop that in there. Now, here's the special moment. There we go. There we go. Look at this guy. That, despite the issues, despite the problems with the construction, despite the issues with the joints and the mislabeled runners in the manual, this is a pretty amazing looking kit. That looks really, really cool. Yeah, Rage, I'm shooting this in the Thunderbolt sector. Apparently, the original idea for Rising Mortal Justice was there were going to be Murasame Kais that were more Gundam-like in design, but due to miscommunication, Okawara made 2 new Gundams. You know what? I could totally see that. With the way they're used in the movie, it actually makes sense that those wouldn't have been actual Gundams. Man, that would have been cool. That would have been really cool if they were just grunt suits. Because I was thinking, I was watching the movie, it's like, man, it's really surprising that they put Shin in a Justice Gundam. That's not something I would have expected. But if they were supposed to be Freedom and Justice inspired Murasames, that would have made a lot of sense. Unsure how popular it is over Endless Waltz. Endless Waltz and Wing are kind of equally popular in America, but Endless Waltz definitely pretty aggressively edges ahead of it in Japan because Katoki gives that extra push. He is very popular. As far as I know, the US store sold the HD Destroyed 100. No, you're not going to... You are not going to find a high-grade Destroy Gundam for $100 in the US. It goes for a lot more than that. It is very expensive over here. Even though with the exchange rate, the prices for a lot of these kits should be cheaper, they tend to be on the high end anyways. Although I think for the Destroy Gundam specifically, a couple stores did drop their prices on it. Oh, the joke is that the Sisqueed is like the Gunbuster. I get it. I get it. I was like, how the hell did they get the license to that from Bandai and then fuck up the name on the packaging? But hey, it's Aoshima, so you never know what to expect with them. That's really interesting, though, about the Rising and Immortal being intended to be Murasame variants instead of Gundams, because that... I'd never heard that before, but that makes a lot of sense. So now we're going to build the backpack. So these pieces, I didn't actually need to cut these out. Those are for the alternate head. I'm going to probably build those in my own time at some point. So we need K runner and O runner. And of course, the question becomes which O runners. I'm going to use the yellow because I think the yellow will look nice, but I could use the gray as well. O35. This piece right here. Star Glory is way easier to build than the Sentinel. Felt like a Bandai quality mold. I'll have to try that one then. That is another kit that I want to make because I would like to have a Master Grade Stargazer, although it would also be nice to have a better Master Grade Strike Noir to go with it. There is that one that Dragon Momoko made, but I mean, good luck getting a hold of that. It's one of the kits that they haven't really re-released after their return, so you'd have to track down an old copy of it. And I just don't think there's a lot of those floating around anymore. Yeah, 3 HD Destroy Gundams is not going to be cheap, no matter where you buy them. The EW ones are so close they might not be... Not really. The EW designs are very far from the TV designs. If you actually want the TV designs, they are not a suitable alternative. But yeah, they did try to kind of make them like this weird hybrid in-between. Which was kind of dumb, because it ultimately ended up pleasing no one. Like, if I want a TV Heavy Arms, I'm not going to buy the EW one, because it's not the TV Heavy Arms, but if I want an EW Heavy Arms, that's also not EW Heavy Arms. It's like this weird in-between. So, I think making the Glory of Losers Master Grodes was a really weird choice, and not one... Looking back in retrospect, I'm not super happy with how they handled those kits. Wing's popularity is the strongest in Western markets, yeah. I would like TV MG wing kits. Yeah, I'm okay with the high grades at this point. I think the high grades are cool. With the TV wing designs, they're so simple that the high grades are able to accurately recreate them, and I'm more of a 1/144th guy anyway, so I don't really mind having them at that scale. Especially since the smaller scale means we were able to get more of the side suits, like the Mercurius, the Veate, the Leo, the Maganak. Like, we definitely wouldn't have gotten those at 1/100. Also, I'm realizing now you guys in chat are like just like a whole ass minute behind the actual stream, so that is kind of making it awkward to actually communicate with you guys, but that's just how it is with this lovely internet connection we have. YouTube seems to have taken the route of delaying the stream by an extreme amount as an alternative to having it constantly buffer, and while understandable, it is kind of disappointing. So the K-Runners are the gray ones, or no, K-Runner's the red runner. Okay, we're getting some red parts in here. Alright, so red and yellow stacked. That's going to look pretty cool. Confirmed new Ranma 1/2 anime in the works. Okay, interesting. Destroy's 120 to 130. Yeah, Destroy is a little on the high side. We got the N runner. 8, 15, 17. Aoshima, Kotobuki, and Volks made Gundam kits back in the Resident days? Yes, they did. Bandai did not always have exclusive ownership over the Gundam franchise. It does explain the weak MA modes and how they already have better looking burst timing. Yeah, it does. The transformation makes a lot of sense now. Yeah, that was before Bandai acquired Sunrise. At least you guys can see the chat on stream, so you know exactly how far behind it is. If it hasn't appeared on stream yet, then I can't see it yet. Even after that, it was true they were somewhat loose on it in the late 80s and early 90s. Well, the early 90s was when they bought Sunrise, so anything before that would have been outside of Bandai's control anyways. Kotobuki Sazabi is a real phrase that exists? Yes, it is. Meanwhile, the dude... Yeah, there is, in fact, a dude with 13 Destroy Gundams. And he also has a couple hundred Windams and daggers. And I think that's also the same guy with all the Jinxes and Leos and Barzams. Or maybe the Barzam... I think the Barzam guy is someone else. There's multiple lunatics on Twitter that have massive armies of Gunpla. Just the same kit over and over. The DMM Strike Noir happens to be the only Dragon Momo kill kit I own. I guess I lucked out given the current scarcity. Yeah. Yeah, it's not a kit you're really going to easily get nowadays. With a lot of those third-party kits, it's a good idea to get them when you see them, because you never know how long the company's going to last. Any of those companies could go down at any point, so if you see a kit you want, you should always get it. Oh. Well, it's a little strange they make me put that on before I assemble the sides, because it doesn't actually tab in. It just pushes on the end, so I could have just pushed that on afterwards. But oh well. Dogram and Escaflowne are both licensed outs. Really? I thought Dogram was Sunrise. Huh. Okay. Whoever loses heavy arms are closer to the show than the Verka new. Not really. Like, I get what you're saying, but the new is still closer. And I don't consider the new as a standard. The new EW is a standard new Gundam. Or not new EW. The new Verka, I don't consider that to be a stand-in for a standard new Gundam, unless you have everything completely closed up and none of the color correcting stickers on, so it just somewhat resembles a normal new Gundam. But hey, that's just another reason I prefer 1100. That's just another reason I prefer 1144th, is because when a new kit comes out, you know it's actually going to look like the mobile suit that's supposed to be, instead of some weird Freedom 2.0 bullshit. The two wing MGs that fend me are the Death Sights, which looks more plain, and the Shenlong, which looks great, but doesn't have the extendable arm. Yeah, the arm on the Shenlong is super weird. Check to make sure there aren't 2K runners. I mean, I don't think there are. No. Right? Yeah, okay. K is a unique runner. Okay. K is a unique runner. It's just O that's different and M that's different. Moderate Escaflowne sucks. They shoot a 2.0. Yeah, I think that was one of their earlier ones. E2, E9. E2, E9, E2, E9. AGF. E2, E9. Here we go. E2, 9. I'm late because I'm cooking, but I agree the Infinite Justice Type 2 is awesome. Hopefully the HOJ order gets filed tomorrow, as it might be a kit I'd strongly recommend. Oh, I'm sure it's going to be great. The Seed Freedom line's had a really good track record so far. Which is worse, Double Zeta or Victory? I mean, I would rather watch Double Zeta over Victory any day, just because at least Double Zeta is part of like the main sort of core meat of the Universal Century. Like it's part of that main original Double Zeta Shar's counterattack saga, and that's got to count for something. Well, Victory just didn't need to happen in the first place. Victory didn't need to exist. My mind would melt building the same kit over and over. Sure, I'd probably build 10 Origin Zaku's, but they're all a bit different. Yeah, the Origin Zaku's, even I got tired of those after a while, but after taking a break and coming back, man, they are such good kits. You just gotta space them out so you're not building too many of them back to back. Especially if they're really similar to each other, like that high mobility team from Doan's Island. Only buy multiples for customs? Yeah, that's pretty common. I can feel my brain melting building both GM Reds together. Props for those who could stand army building the same kit over and over. Yeah, that would drive me insane. Even the kits that are specifically designed for it, like the Leo, no. I'm not built like that. Oh, Dogram is Sunrise, but Sunrise doesn't care about Dogram to make it themselves. Okay. Wait, so that means did Moderoid make a Dogram kit? Because if so, that means they can license out. They can get the licensing to Sunrise shows, which I wasn't aware they could do. Wait, no, of course they can. Of course they can get Sunrise shows because they did Cross Angie, and that was Sunrise. So Moderoid can actually get their hands on some of the Sunrise anime that aren't Gundam. That's good. That's interesting. Okay, so that opens up a lot of possibilities. That Bandai is not completely opposed to working with them. Even if it is just licensing out their other lesser-known shows. IG Type 2 is lame. That's what I thought at first when I saw it, and then I saw some in-hand pictures, and I was like, okay, this is really growing on me really fast. It's not the Infinite Justice, it's the Justice. It has the Justice color palette. Yeah, but it's got the body of the Infinite Justice, though. Hard to say if I'd recommend the Zagok, but I might get it for the meme. I'm gonna get the Zagok. I think the Zagok looks unironically awesome. Even memes aside, it's just a cool looking design. Lacks the yellow and green of the Infinite Justice. It does. It would have been nice to have those in there, but I think it's still a pretty awesome looking kit. These pieces. When I can get them both for dirt cheap, I'll do Murasame Kai customs of Rising Moral Justice, then make the Striker Pack Rising Freedom and still have more Justice. Yeah, that would be a really cool custom to make, like the what if of if they actually followed the original design concept for them. Fell in love with what the Infinite Justice specifically does over Justice. Oh yeah, strong agree there. I much prefer the Infinite Justice, but I do still really like the Immortal Justice. Or not, well, I like the Immortal Justice as well. I think both the Immortal Justice and the Spec 2, pretty good, pretty good. But I do think that the standard Infinite Justice, if I was ranking all of them, would probably still be at the top. Yeah, the head fin is pretty Infinite Justice, I think. No, I guess Standard Justice had the head fin as well. I did. This runner. After they wrap up the Seed Freedom line, if they do the G-Weapon lineup from Seed, like the Wing Gundams, I could see them doing that. I'd really like to see them do that, actually. And it'd be such an easy line for them to do because they already have the base molds for some of them thanks to Freedom. And if they're not already planning to like backtool the Seed Freedom kits into their original Seed counterparts, then I don't know, man. They're just throwing money in the fire at that point. I capped the army building at groups of 4 and no higher than 12. I mean, that's still pretty crazy. Which single character in Gundam anime do you hate the most? I mean, recently, Agnes from that Seed Freedom movie ranks pretty high up there. Like, holy crap. I mean, I know the character is supposed to be hateable, but damn, they did a good job. They did a really good job. I did not want to see her survive. Moral Justice was one of the worst of the bunch because a lot of the parts loosen up easily, like the crotch fin and separating canopy. Yeah, I'll see that for myself when I build one. I really want to get the Rising Freedom and a Moral Justice to start the line before I start getting any of the others. Although at this rate, I've postponed getting them so many times that my Blitz Duel pre-order is probably going to come in before I ever get my hands on any of those. Oh, Max Factory did the Dogram. Okay. I could still see Moderoid potentially doing it. I feel like the only thing that's probably making them not want to do it is the fact that there is the Max Factory one that came out fairly recently. It really does seem like a big focus of what Moderoid is doing is not so much... It's very much focused on making things that have never been made before, making those really obscure robots that have never gotten a kit and might never get a kit. So I think they're not as likely to make a model that some other company just did. Did I see I've not seen the new Dune movie yet. I saw the first one. I haven't seen the new one yet. It's just something I haven't really gotten around to. They can do everything but Gundam, Macross, Super Robot Wars, 5-star stories, and maybe Elgheim. Okay. Okay, so a lot's on the table for Moderoid. Man, it's too bad they can't do Super Robot Wars, because you know they would go so much deeper than Bandai does on that line. They would give us all sorts of deep cuts if they did a Super Robot Wars line. They've given out Dunbine, Ideon, Zabungle, Dogram, Votoms, and many more. Yeah, they seem to be pretty okay with that. I'm a Quest hater. Yeah, that's fair. That's fair. Aoshima and Good Smile Company already made Macross stuff. Yeah, a lot of companies have done Macross, but I think Moderoid specifically might not be able to get their hands on it. Oh, that is a nub that I forgot to take off. Let me just pry you open. Problem with everything being undergated is that yes, you get no gate marks, but it also means that if you miss a nub, it just completely messes with the fitment of the parts. They are not going to go together. There's that little extra bit of plastic between them. Only Seed Freedom kits I actually liked were the Goog and the Mighty Strike Freedom from a technical standpoint. I don't know, I think everything that I've seen from the line so far looks pretty great, but I have yet to try building any of them. The king of trims that can't be done in plastic parts. Yeah, kind of. I like how they didn't upgrade the Destiny to a Type 2 just so the base design could get any kind of win under its belt. Yeah, I thought it was weird in the movie that the Impulse Gundam still needed to be recharged off the Destiny, because I seem to remember in that scene where they're, and I guess spoilers for Seed Freedom, but at this point, who hasn't seen it? I guess in that scene when they see them in like the basement hangar or whatever in Orb, they say something about how they've all been refitted with nuclear reactors or something. Like they're like, oh yeah, we got the new reactors and the new control systems and everything. But I guess that just doesn't apply to the the Impulse Gundam, and I don't really know why they wouldn't have done the same to it, because they like modified and updated all the other Gundams, but the Impulse Gundam can still run out of juice halfway through a battle, which I think is kind of silly. They did upgrade the Destiny as a bronze frame and after images. Yeah, and a gray V-fin, so it's totally a completely different design now. It's a totally different Gundam. Buy two. Pretty sure any Sunrise-owned property can be licensed out of Bandai, but Gundam makes too much money for them to license it out. Yeah. Koda makes Brave kits, that is true. And that's also partially owned by Takara. Yeah, Macross is in Sunrise. Metroid and Max Factory owned by GSC, pretty much the same shit. Yeah, that is a good point. So, if Max Factory is already making something, there's no reason for Moderoid to do it too. Mm-hmm. 3 and 4. Moderoid loves deep cuts but not expanding lines. Oh, is that in reference to SRW? I mean, I don't know about that. They did a pretty comprehensive Patlabor line. They basically made what, like everything from the movies pretty much? Or at least from the first movie. I remember I looked up the kits after I watched the film, and it looked like pretty much everything I remembered seeing from the movie had a Moderoid, so it seems like they can do comprehensive lines when they really want to. MG Extreme Age FX, do it, cowards. That is the ultimate copium right there. For Ava, they made Ava 1 and nothing else. Okay, but to be fair, there's a million different Evangelion lines, so that's not really a major loss. They are doing a good job on Patlabor. That's what I just said, but I realized that was probably a minute ago when you actually typed that. Oh, hey, man, Pig, you missed a really janky stream with 60% dropped frames, about a 1-minute delay on chat, and the discovery that not only are there both yellow and gray O runners, but there's also metallic and clear M runners. So for every single metallic piece on this runner, there's also a clear part that they made no mention of in the manual. However, I decided to stick with the metallic parts anyways, because if I can find that one clear visor that I cut off, I don't remember where I put it, but I'll find it eventually. It had some really giant bubbles in it, and it looked really ugly, so I just stuck with the metallic parts anyways. They made another Ikaruga because the person said, I didn't know they did any Ikarugas in Moderoid. I thought I'd seen like the really old Kotobukiya kit, but I didn't know that Moderoid had made some of the newer ones. Or Moderoid made newer kits of them. The thing I hate about MSF is they changed the Beam Saber racks to the Freedom ones. Yeah, that felt like such an unnecessary change to make. Moral Justice is also fantastic, but not quite as fantastic. Yeah, I'm really looking forward to building both of them. At this point, I might as well just 100% the Seed Freedom line. So I'm getting so many of them anyways. Alright guys, break out the champagne. This stream is officially at over 100,000 dropped frames. This is a really big milestone. I couldn't have reached it without you guys, so I just want to thank every single one of you for subscribing to this channel, because I could not have gotten to 100,000 dropped frames without every single one of you. Thank you so much, guys. I just finished the Immortal Justice yesterday, other than the wings being weirdly jointed. The Destiny Impulse thing is done for kissing. Yeah, but it was still dumb, though, in lore. Oh, wait, was the Impulse not... Hold on. No, the Impulse... I'm almost certain the Impulse was in the hangar. I'm pretty sure I remember specifically seeing the Impulse Gundam in that scene. Was it really not in the hangar? Did I just, like, hallucinate the Impulse Gundam being there with the others? Because I'm almost certain I remember seeing it. The Infinite Justice, Destiny, and Strike Freedom were the only ones in the hangar. Okay. Okay, that makes sense then. I guess that makes sense. Because I was like, I thought the Impulse was in that scene too, so I'm like, man, it's weird they didn't give it a new reactor like they did the others. Guess on Impulse, the engine being smaller because it has separate components, or the packs drain more energy. Yeah, it could be something like that. I just think, with everything else getting refitted with new equipment, it's kind of weird they didn't do that for the Impulse. Everyone gets the cool new tech, but Lunamaria. FYI, the sword the Rudera used is stored with the guard facing forward on the kit, but with the handle facing forward in the movie. Yeah, it could have been just a little change in the design they made at the last minute. It's not impossible to store the sword in the kit as they did the movie, but the holster isn't made for that and it feels less flush. Yeah, that's probably just a little adjustment they made. Wonder what Bandai was smoking and messed up on engineering. Again, it's probably just a matter of they changed the design too late for them to accommodate the kit. Moderoid prioritizes main character mecha, but it depends. Rayearth got the full set, same thing with Grandsort. Although I guess with Rayearth, you could argue that the full set is the main characters. Like, they are the main team. Stores with handler clip, handle, or I think he means that the way that it stores is different than it is in the movie, so you can't quite make it movie accurate. Move the camera down a little bit so you can see a little better. Just that. There we go. There, that's better. They could do more obscure Ava stuff. Yeah, that they could do like was it mass production Avas that have like the creepy mouths? I prefer metallic parts over clear. Yeah, the metallic parts do look a little bit better, but if I knew I had the choice from the beginning, I probably would have at least tried clear parts first. My volume down. Must have just been a noise gate thing. Yeah, my meters on the OBS are all the same as they were. Think about how the Destiny stored it with the handle facing forward. Rudera does the same in the movie, but the kit was engineered to store it backwards. Ikaruga... No, Ikaruga has a... Oh, wait. Are you guys talking about Ikaruga, the bullet hell game on the Dreamcast? Because Kotobukiya made a kit of the ship from that, and I think that's what I was thinking of when you were talking about Moderoid. Because I was talking about the ship from the bullet hell game, so if that's not what you were talking about, then I'm thinking of a different Ikaruga. Knights and Magic's Ikaruga. Okay, yeah, that makes sense. I was like, what are you talking about? Ikaruga came out like 25 years ago. So... Oh wait, Impulse was in the hangar. Okay, that's weird. So they just didn't upgrade it. Infinite Justice was in the Zagok. That's right, because they didn't show it until the final scene. The Infinite Justice in the Zagok, Impulse in the hangar, but it's not. Yeah, so in that scene where they said, "Oh, we refitted all of these Gundams with like nuclear equipment and new or like nuclear power and new control systems," they were, I guess, not talking about the Impulse, even though it was right there with the others. They didn't upgrade because it's illegal. Well, it would have been illegal to upgrade any of them, right? But they upgraded all the others to nuclear power. Are these still able to open once that piece? Yes, it's very, very tight, but these do open. Okay. That's cool. Okay, now we build the middle part of the backpack. Should have made a perfect Impulse. That would have been a cool upgrade. That would have been a cool upgrade, but that probably would have drained the power in it even faster. Oh yeah, HD Zagok is going to be super cool. Man, it is crazy how quickly they turned around a prototype for that Zagok. Like, they went from zero intent to make it as a kit to the day the movie came out deciding they were going to make one. So that gives us an idea of really, like, the absolute maximum for how quickly they can turn out a kit. So they had a prototype ready 5 months after the movie came out. It looks like they're probably going to have it ready for production at the end of the year. If not that, then maybe early next year. Whenever it does end up being, though, that'll ultimately give us a really good example of best case scenario, the absolute fastest that Bandai can put out a kit. And I think it'll really put it in perspective for a lot of people, because some people don't realize exactly how long it takes to make some of these models. Meanwhile, guy faked excitement and went on script for the RFV kits. Oh, Requiem for Vengeance kits. Yeah, I saw the screenshot from that stream. That Gundam Universe figure looked like just absolute garbage. Okay. Okay, so O runner. That means that we have a choice between yellow and gray. I'm going to go with yellow to keep it consistent. So we're going to use number 6. Man, the chat's so far behind the stream. I feel like I'm corresponding with you guys by mail. I wish I could drop the latency, but with my connection, there's no way that would work. I need to figure out something for next stream. I'm not gonna 100% the Black Knight's ID. I'm not that crazy. In fact, I'm not sure if I'll get any of them. I might get everything but the Black Knights because I'm really not a fan of that design. D and M. The M, that's gonna be a metallic or clear part, and I'm thinking metallic for this one. Oh wait, no, 15, not 6. M15. E25. That would be one of the larger gray runners. O. E. A5. Oh hey Euronymous, welcome to the stream. I still hold the theory that switching packs drains more energy like Strike's issue. Yeah, I could see that. They didn't upgrade the Strike Freedom and Destiny to nuclear power because they already had it. Like, nuclear energy doesn't make it unlimited, but as Strike Freedom improved, it can still be drained before energy is refilled when push limit. Yeah, but something tells me that the Impulse Gundam is not going to be pushing a nuclear reactor to its limits. That thing is not drawing as much power as Strike Freedom. The Impulse did get a new battery, hence Spec 2, but it still ran out of juice really quickly, though. Like, it didn't seem like it had that much more longevity than the normal Impulse Gundam. Only Buster and Duo got nuclear power because they were Zaft suits. They also got Zaku cockpits. Yeah, I remember them mentioning that. Impulse got a new battery, which is the reason the colors are different because the voltage is higher. Yeah, but it still ran out pretty quick. Find it weird they didn't do a Destiny R style where the core block mechanic was removed so it'd have room for a nuclear reactor. Yeah, that would have been a really cool way to do it. That way the Spec 2 real grade could have actually been a different model because they could have tooled up a new core block for it, and you'd have some sort of meaningful physical difference between them then. If they can fit them in the Duel and Buster, they should have been able to do it for the Destiny body. Yeah, if they combined it together and didn't have the transformation gimmick anymore. Is the stream really hard behind chat? Yes, it is. It's because my internet connection is very poor, so I have to have a really long delay on the stream. The only chat messages I can see are the ones that you see on the stream itself. And yes, the Luna Mario and Shin Mech kiss was critical, apparently. That was the most important part of that scene. Oh, there's that runner done. Yeah, man, Pig, I get that all or nothing idea for the Black Knights. It doesn't really make sense to just get one of them. Only way it makes sense to get one is if you're just getting that main commander one. B14. This one again. I would go with Garuda MJ. I feel like that's the more well-known translation of the name in English. ID, if I want to build 12 feet on stream, I can actually do that for 12 different kits instead of building the same feet over and over again. You have any idea how boring it is to just have the same feet over and over? No. That's the whole point of the harem. You have multiple different sets of feet. Black Knight looks at home in the G Gundam universe. I don't think it even really would fit in with G Gundam. It's kind of just an odd design. It feels very un-Gundam. And I get it. They wanted to create an original grunt suit, but man, they kind of missed the mark with those. Holy crap! That should not be as tight as it is. I literally feel like I'm going to snap this piece in half just by bending it. They could have made that peg like a couple sizes smaller and it would have still been just fine. They did not need to make it that tight. Oh yeah, Euro, sure. So, the head unit looks pretty awesome. There are alternate parts for all the metallic green parts, so you can replace them with clear green if you like. Oh, his skirt armor fell off the foot. Full ankle guard, there we go. So, the head looks pretty awesome. Got this big old visor. There's not a huge angular difference between the visor being up versus down. When you drop it down, it pretty much looks the same, but you tip it up, there's a little bit of visor visible underneath. It's pretty cool. They also give you doubled up versions of these pieces, so if you want to have them with the 2 ear flaps or with the 2 antennas, you can go ahead and do that. You could also reverse them if you feel like changing them up a bit that way. There's a lot of customization options with this kit, but unfortunately, the manual just doesn't always clarify them, so it can be kind of frustrating during the construction. I think I'm gonna consistently stick with the M runner in metallic for the rest of the build. It does seem to look a little bit better than the clear parts. D18. Yes. I do understand if you don't want to get the Knights to us. They're bland characters, and the most in-depth ones made of salt. Honestly, it's not even the characters. It's just they're kind of boring-ass mecha designs. Like, there's plenty of times where there's boring or unlikable characters where I still get their kits anyways, but the Black Knight team, just from the get-go, as soon as I saw the kits, they just really didn't look that interesting at all. I need D11. They should have made a non-reflective coating purple and orange Akatsuki for Mu in the first half, then run out the reflective one for the final act. Mu deserves his own custom. Yeah, the Akatsuki was that was kind of cool to see, and also I gotta say, there was a lot of talk when when the real grade Akatsuki first was announced, because they said that the adapter parts for the Zeus silhouette were only going to come with the expansion pack that has the Shu and Shiranui backpack. But after watching the movie, it kind of makes sense why they did that, because when Mu uses the Akatsuki in the film, he only ever uses the Zeus silhouette with the Shiranui backpack. So if you're going to use the Zeus silhouette, you're going to need to get that expansion set anyways, so including the adapter parts with the backpack is really not that unreasonable, since you're going to be getting them anyways. Kind of hate the Black Knight, if I'm honest. Yeah, that's fair. It's not really that great of a design. Kind of weird the Black Knights have GN Taos. I mean, I guess you kind of see them that way. I'm not sure what exactly the tech behind them is. I didn't really read up on a bunch of the lore behind the technology of Seed Freedom yet. I only really know what was directly mentioned in the movies. Oh yeah, I found that piece that fell off of the vent before. So one of these vents popped out when I was building it, and it flew across the floor, and I didn't feel like getting it because it wouldn't go in. But I eventually found it, and I glued it in place because the peg was cut off from when I was trying to get it to fit in. And it sits in there pretty well. It looks pretty okay, and that whole thing's been resolved. Also, those vents would have looked really weird if I didn't use the yellow parts, because then it just would have been gray on gray. There's some places where I get why they give you the option for both the gray and the yellow parts, because there's areas where I could see someone who wants a more realistic looking mecha to replace the yellow parts, but then there's other parts of the build where if you replace them with the gray parts, it just looks super bland. That looks like a seed version of the Sniper 2. Yeah, it kind of does. It has a little bit of a seedified look, but much more reserved than you see with a lot of third-party kits. That's why I really like this one, is because it still has so much of that Universal Sentry simplicity to it. It's not trying to be the biggest, flashiest Gundam you've ever seen. It's just trying to be a nice, cool, simple design. And I really appreciate that type of simplicity. I love the Black Knights. They're fresh, especially the visors. I just think they're kind of generic looking. They look like just generic robot knights, and it's kind of boring. Like, one thing I give a lot of newer Gundam series credit for is when they make a new grunt, like the Greys or the Jinx or the grunts, some of the grunt suits from Witch from Mercury, they are very strikingly unique designs. And with Seed, a lot of the Seed suits, when it comes to the grunts, they're pretty derivative. It's like, hey, here's a Zaku, but it's Seed. Here's a Dom, but it's Seed. So it's interesting to see a more unique and original looking grunt suit in Seed, but I'm still not really a huge fan of the design in general. Glad they didn't try and do more UC copies for the Black Knight designs. Yeah, I mean, they kind of got in the last of the UC copies with this anyways, because they gave us as a Gok, they gave us a Gion, and they gave us a Gelgoog, so that's pretty much all the major Xeon mobile suits in Seed at this point. All they gotta do is a mass production colors version of the Zagok. Wait, no, I thought he uses the Shiranui pack with the Zeus pack. Doesn't he? Aren't they both part of the same configuration? Or does he... Oh, wait, no. Does the... Or maybe the Shiranui pack detaches when he... I thought I remembered making a note of when I watched the movie that both packs were, like, attached at the same time. Maybe he does take the Shiranui pack off for it. Yeah, but, like, I thought that the... MJ, I thought that the point of putting it with the P Bandai set was because you would need those parts anyways to make it. Because I'm pretty sure in that scene, he has both packs. He has like both equipment sets at the same time. Zeus Silhouette's Ultimate Striker pack. So what? It attaches to the back instead of the Shiranui pack. I mean, it makes sense when you say it, but I don't remember that from the film. I remember them both being like connected at the same time. I'll need to look at some screenshots of it. Oh, that's how that works. Okay, that's cool. So the thruster starts down here, and then you can lift it up, and now it's two thrusters. That's really neat. That's something I've never seen on an actual Gundam before. That's a cool little bit of design. I like that. The Strike Rouge in the Seed Freedom movie is a complete 3D model, but all the parts covered up by the Cavalier are just recolored Akatsuki parts? Did they like say that in the behind the scenes info, or is that something that you can actually see in the movie? Because you only see it for a few seconds, but it looked to me like it was just the standard Strike Rouge. But I guess it wouldn't make sense for them to make a full model of the Strike Gundam just for that one scene that it's used in. So I could see them reusing parts like that. So... Also, they got to make the Cavalier pack now, because that's basically the only thing they haven't done from Seed Freedom at this point. Do the Cavalier pack that's compatible with the Strike Rouge and the Zagok. And, you know, they'll probably do it as an option set since it's compatible with multiple kits. And that'll be it for Seed Freedom. I'm thinking of like the Cavalier in HG before the Atori. Oh, long before the Atori. Like, they're going to make the Cavalier right now because it's relevant to the movie. If they ever do the Atori, it'll be for some special anniversary year or something. Or just because they feel like it. It's not going to... They're definitely going to prioritize the Cavalier because that's for the new movie. Obviously. Because we're getting the Murasame Kai's retail, the stock Murasame will be banished to P Bandai Hell. I don't think we're going to get a stock Murasame out of that mold. I think it's just going to be the Murasame Kai. If you want a stock Murasame, you're probably going to have to stick with the old one. I can't see them retooling it. I get them doing the Gundams, but the Murasame, I do not think they're going to retool into a standard form. The Prize Seed is still going on. I'm not. Seed is insanely popular in Japan. I'm surprised it took them this long to realize they could capitalize on it. Gundam Seed Justice ought to give us some heat. Man, they probably are going to make a movie called that at this point. Hated Witch from Mercury so much it made me enjoy Seed. Well, to be honest, I didn't love the movie. I thought it was okay. It still had a lot of the stupid shit that you see with Gundam Seed, but I think overall I might have actually enjoyed it a little more than Witch from Mercury. Man, this backpack looks so good. Wait. Wait a minute. Are you kidding me? So that was just a coincidence. It's not actually designed to do that. I was saying before that you could lift this thruster up and pull it down over the other one, but you can't actually do that once it's assembled. The grooves on that latch into this piece. So that's just the hinges for two different thrusters. It's just permanently locked in place. So you can't adjust it the way that I thought you could. That's lame. That was a really cool feature I discovered. I was like, oh wow, you can take this thruster and pull it down over the other one. That's cool. But no, it's just a coincidence with how it's designed. Seed is the most successful Gundam entry, whether you like it or not. Yeah, Seed is insanely successful. Gaza, Cublé remold the Gelgu to Regelgu. I could almost see them doing that. If Cecilia Dote was in Seed, then I would have loved Seed. Honestly, Cecilia Dote didn't really do much for me. I mean, there was stuff to latch onto, I think, with G-Witch. It was just that the execution of everything was just really lacking. There were so many times where I was like, oh, that's a cool idea. What are they going to do with it? And you see what they do with it, and it's like, oh, that's okay. Also, it really didn't feel nearly as Gundam-y as Seed Freedom does. Like, Seed Freedom, good or bad, like it or hate it, that is a Gundam-ass Gundam movie. And that was a very, very enjoyable experience to watch. The Akatsuki and Freedom launched without us. I am almost 100% certain I remember seeing it with the Shiranui pack. I'm going to need to look at those screenshots. I'm checking them right now because I am so certain I saw it with the Shiranui pack in the movie. Okay, so there it is with the Zeus pack, and it's not using the Shiranui pack. And then there's when it was first equipping it. Okay. So he doesn't use the Shiranui pack at all. Well, that's weird. Huh, I so certainly remember that. That's strange. So criminal, we don't have a Tori. Yeah, honestly, a Tori and IWSP would be great paint candidates for the option part line, so I hope they get to those eventually. They could make a new Hizaki Warrior and Jin. I can't see... I could maybe see them doing the Zaki Warrior, but I can't really see them doing... No, I can't really see them doing that either, because the old Seed grunts aren't super prominent in the movie. And if they were more prominent in the movie, I could absolutely see them making new kits for them, but I don't know. I feel like we're definitely gonna get for sure some revived style Seed kits from things like the Dual Gundam, the Buster Gundam that they already have molds for. Stuff like the grunt suits, I think that's a much harder sell because there's no real... Yes, Seed Freedom has generally revitalized people's interest in Seed, but they're not specifically relevant to the movie, so I feel like they're not gonna I don't think they're gonna do revives of the grunt suits. Yeah, they'll do a Jin or Zaku because of the MGs. And that's another factor, too, is that they did master grades them fairly recently, so they probably wouldn't double up on those with high grades. They could do the Din. They could... Of all of the ones that you mentioned, I could see the Din being the most likely, just because it has literally nothing. PB&I, yeah, they're going to definitely PB&I the mass production Gelgoog. Oh, a Zoot would be really cool. And I guess the Zoot wasn't featured in the movie much more than the Jin was. Still, though, Zoot would be a fun kit to do. Strike Rouge could also not be a Strike Rouge since the last time we saw it was ripped apart. Yeah, I was surprised to see a completely unmodified Strike Rouge again. I would have thought they would have done something a little bit different with it, since it would have presumably had to have been entirely rebuilt. Get these M6s. These are some tiny little pieces. Just itty-bitty little metallic details. And N runner needs these pieces. 25. Jin's ugliest sin, but deserves this time in the sun. I mean, it gets used pretty frequently in the show, so yeah, why not? In fact, I feel like the Din got really commonly used to not get a high grade kit. In the debut game for Gundam Seed, the Din and Buki were absolute menaces for no reason. S-Terrain, good alls. I remember Gundam Seed got that one weird game on the PS2 where instead of being, it played almost exactly like G-Gen, but instead of being SD Gundams, it had a cel-shaded aesthetic and it was full proportion Gundams. It was really strange. Fun, but definitely an odd installation in the pseudo-adjacent to SD Gundam G-Generation series. I looked at the wiki when it ditches the pack, we get a back shot of it, nothing. That's so weird. I'm certain that I remember seeing it with the Shiranui pack. That is bizarre. Well, I guess that makes it a lot less justifiable that they put the attachment parts in with the Shiranui pack then. Bandai's made every scummy decision they could with the RJ Kotsky, and it's actually pain. I mean, if you're talking about the frame, I think that's going to end up being a non-issue. The parts of the strike frame that are actually a problem are very clearly changed, so I don't think that'll really be that much of an issue. The taking the attachment parts exclusive to the Iwashi pack was kind of a dick move, though. Jin and Zaki were barely in the movie. They're in, like, the opening scene, and that's it. Definitely not enough for them to get revives. Wonder if Bandai's bold enough to triple dip on the Seed universe with a new series. I don't know if we'll get a new series. I think we'll probably get a couple more movies, and if the movies continue to do really, really well, they might greenlight it for a full series. I could see that happening. Where do these go? Okay, these go all the way down in. Wait, what? The prefix the Cavalier gives to docked units is amazing, like Amazing Zagok and Amazing Strike Rouge. There's no way that's official. That's not the official names for them, right? There's no way. Why would they have reused that from Build Fighters? It literally makes no sense in the Seed universe. Especially since there's already an Amazing Zagok in Build Fighters itself. We're getting more Seed, I doubt full movie series. Yeah, I think what they meant when they said that was that they're making more movies, which would make a lot of sense. If we get like a few movies in a row and they all do really good, that's when I could see them doing a series. Yeah, I've seen the Goof Cannon. It's a silly man. He's a silly man. Wait, what? Amazing Zagok is a Kuga reference? Are you serious? But why? I don't see the correlation with Kamen Rider Kuga at all. Is it literally just, hey, I like this Kamen Rider, I'm gonna throw in a reference to it? Wait. Rising Freedom, Mighty Strike Freedom, oh my god, is that really why they called them that? Are you serious? That is so dumb. They're literally just named after Kamen Riders. Wonder if they'll go with Agito for the next movie. Shining Freedom, Burning Strike Freedom. Ow. Stabbed my finger on the peg there. Who knows? Maybe G Gundam was a Agito reference this whole time. The big three Toku make the Illuminati blush. Well, maybe not Sentai so much. Sentai is... Last I checked, Sentai is, like, fluctuating back and forth between It's So Over and We're So Back, because, what, like, it's been like 10 years now where almost every series has been just barely good enough to keep them going, and they've had, like, 2 or 3, maybe, that were actually, like, really successful. Because I know King Oger did really good, but I think King Oger doing as well as it did was, like, a massive exception for the recent Sentai. Arch needs to move from these full frames entirely. Mods aren't enough. Sinanju's mod. This has nothing to do with Sinanju, though. Sinanju was ages ago. They're not going to make the same mistakes they did with the Sinanju. Like, I think you're getting too hung up on this, man, because it's not going to be the problem that you think it is. It's going to be fine. It's going to be fine. That's pretty cool. Pretty sick. Now I need B18. B18, I think, is a Ray runner. RGGSP Freedom did some mods and turned out unironically well. Yeah, that's a straight up really good kit. Zaki Warrior's in a decent amount of the final act. I guess. Not a... okay. I mean, I guess if we're getting the Murasame Kai, we could maybe get a Zaki Warrior, but it would be a pretty big stretch. Jin's one of the few seed kits that got no reprints. Can't help but think it's for a reason. I mean, the reason could just be that the Jin doesn't sell as well. It's also called by the MG 144th collector. I mean, that could be a part of it. But yeah, they did reprint the seed Gundams, so... Given recent events, I don't think we're getting any new movies centered around Amuro anytime soon. Probably not. Not for a while, at least. They're definitely... In fact, I wouldn't be surprised if they started leaning on the Cosmic Era more in general because of that. If you really want complete sets, you have to abandon caring about scale. Yeah, but it's not a complete set if they're not in the same scale, though. Like, I don't want just these weird-ass mismatches of different sizes of kits. At that point, they're not even the same. The whole point of having this team is that they all look good together. If they're all different sizes, it's like... It's not the same. It doesn't count. I need D9. This runner done? No, I still have the V-fin for the other head that I just nearly tossed. Oh yeah, HGUC Methus is a really cool kit. I also learned how giant it is recently. I had no idea the Methus was that big, but it's as big, if not bigger, than the Zeta Gundam. It looks like it's one of those suits that should be really short and squat, because it kind of has those proportions to it, but it is just an absolute unit of a mobile suit. Thinking about getting the HG Methus and the O for a while. They're both really cool looking kits. Especially the O. I love the design of the O. I really... Oh, that just came apart on its own, seemingly. That's strange. Well, sticking together for now. But yeah, I really like Theo. It's a cool design, and I get why Bandai doesn't do a ton with it since it's kind of expensive to manufacture, but man, it looks so nice. I wish we get more modern kits of it, but oh well. It is what it is. 012s, that's going to be some yellow parts. And one of them fell off the runner. But it didn't damage the parts at all, so we're good. Theo has quite a few reviews, and Methods has less. Both are good, and you should get them both. Yeah, definitely. And even then, it would still be nice to see a newer review on the O, even if it has a few already. Oh yeah, that's right. I heard about Dawn Brothers doing well too. Thinking of doing a double review for the HD Akatsuki units. You could. I don't know how many people will want to buy those now that the real grade's out though. Like SRW Alpha 2 or the final boss, a giant Sentai reference, more specifically its minions. Oh yeah, you see tons of pop culture references to Sentai, but a lot of the newer shows themselves specifically don't do super well. Which is probably why Power Rangers experimented so much with moving away from them before it ultimately ended up not actually mattering in the end, because they just kind of shelved the whole Power Rangers show, so that just ended up being what it was. That was kind of sad to see. Like I don't care a ton about Power Rangers, but it's kind of like seeing the end of an era, even though it's happened before. So there's pretty much the whole body done. We got the backpack. For 9K yen, it's not unreasonable to expect a new frame like Impulse. It uses part of the Impulse frame. And also a lot of that price is going into the gold parts. MG the O, I don't want to pay Bandai price for. Yeah, MG the O is not worth it. The fact that I get this $120 MG, and if they reprinted it, and I still need to paint the green thrusters, is not acceptable. Yeah, the O is basically a full mechanics or a Re 100, like 7 or 8 years before either of those lines existed. Next Seed movie is Seed Impossible, with Moo as the main character, making the impossible possible. Scale matters a lot to me if we're talking about collecting. Because, like, sure, if there's a good kit that's in a different scale, I'll get it to have a nicer version of that one specific mobile suit, but I want to have a full team or a full set of suits that are in the same scale. In fact, I go further than that. I don't want them in the same scale. I want them to actually be stylistically consistent. It's one of the reasons I hate the newer Seedmaster grades so much, because about halfway through, they just randomly went from making them anime accurate to making knockoff metal builds. And it's fine. If they were always looked like they do now, it would be okay. But there's this really obvious difference between any newer master grades and older ones. So like you have your your Master Grade Strike Remaster and your Master Grade Freedom 2.0, and they look like they're from two completely different model lines. Especially, it's even worse with the Zaku Warrior. Like, you put that next to the Impulse, and it's like, man, what is even going on? At least that one third-party company put out an Impulse that's more stylistically similar to the newer kits. Doesn't work for dioramas for a collection, it's fine. Yeah, but your collection is going to be sitting on a shelf, and they're going to be sitting next to each other. They're going to be seen next to each other. They should be in the same scale. For me, 1/44 is my big fun collection, but for the suits I really like, I'll also have an MG. Yeah, that makes sense. I don't like the HD Methus personally. Does the job for a Methus, but doesn't look right, doesn't pose right, doesn't feel right. I think it looks pretty cool. I'm sure that it's probably got issues with how it feels just because it's an older HDUC, and a lot of those like 05, 04 and earlier HDUCs that I've had experience with have been really not that great, but I like the Methus enough as a design that I'd be willing to put up with it. Looks fine, but barely poses. I feel like the pose it can do looks good. Yeah, that sounds about right. Methus Yakushiki height, yeah, it's big. So, I guess we can start building some weapons now. We're going to start with the pistols. Runners are these. Oh, it's this one. Okay. Here we go. I'm going to bring these runners up to the top since we're building the weapons now. 18, 19, and 3. Direct styrene joints feel so bad. Oh yeah, that sucks when they do that on older kits. Here's 3. Oh, they're reprinting the Gustav Karl. That's cool. That's a pretty cool pistol. And those just drop down inside the side skirt, just like that. Okay. And then we do one for the other side. Worried the suit's gonna look kind of weird with this big backpack. It's a little on the big side, but it's small enough from the front that I don't think it's gonna be an issue. Do I think they'll use the Verkaz Zeta to make any other variants like the 8th? No, I don't think they're gonna do the heavy retools from Gundam Evolve. I think we might see a white Zeta from it, but that's gonna be the extent of it. Double cannon pack in this kit looks like the Verde Buster police version. It's kind of greebly and awkward. Yeah, I definitely prefer the sniper configuration. Backpack is dual assault shroud mixed with Sinanju. Yeah, I can definitely see the dual assault shroud for sure. I demand Bandai release a flat yellow RG Akatsuki like the pre-HDC Destiny remaster. I could see them doing some sort of plating variant of it, either the flat Hyakushiki gold or just an unpainted version. There's definitely some extra reuses they can get out of that kit. Especially for painting, it would be really nice to have that. Doing the HD might be helpful for people who would settle for the HD for price. Yeah, that actually might be a good idea then. Because yeah, it might be tempting, but boy, do you ever get what you pay for. Even then, I feel like that doesn't really apply because you're paying $25 for a really janky high-grade seed kit. Even at 9,000 yen, I would take the real grade Akatsuki any day of the week. That is 9,000 yen well spent. So the insertion and removal of the pistols from the holsters isn't particularly smooth. They do kind of get caught up on stuff, but they do fit in pretty securely. It's a nice storage solution. I don't feel like the backpack's too big. I think the backpack's fine. I don't know if it really needs that many thrusters. It could have maybe done without these side pieces, but if you really want to, you can just pull the side thrusters off. And you get something that's a lot more streamlined looking. And if you want an even bigger backpack, you can still attach the shields from the other configuration. Backpack and adapter set's going to be 50 USD before tax. Probably something close to that. I want an MG Hyakushiki for my MG Zeta kits, but I don't want to spend $80 on it. Yeah, that's fair. It's a really cool kit, but that plating sure does add some to the price. The offensively gold look makes the Akatsuki hard to look at, to be honest. I mean, it's accurate to the show. It's supposed to be a bright chrome, but it would be nice if they did a flat gold version as well, like the Dragon Momoko one. For those who want an HD Akatsuki, the plastic underneath the plating is a really dark gray, so if you want to restore stuff like the shoulders, you can just do some sanding. Interesting. I've never seen a kit use dark gray underneath plated parts. I've seen black, I've seen white, I've seen like a flat version of the same color. I've never seen them use gray. Do I think an HGC Blitz is in the cards? It depends on if they do Buster and Duel. I think Buster and Duel are pretty likely, and if they do make them, then Aegis and Blitz would be even more likely. I want to do decals, but the heat in this well-insulated room is killing me. Yeah, it's a hot summer, man. The kit you're building has really cool operator kind of vibes. I can see it with a really big gun. Well, I got good news for you, man. This kit's got a really big gun, and that's what we're going to be building next. It's not the same shade of gray as the frame. It's darker, so if you have OCD of the same shade, you'll need to paint. But if you don't care that much, it's dark gray underneath. And even then, if you sand down the plating, the paint's probably going to stick to it a lot better anyways, so you might as well sand it down just to see if you like how it looks before you start painting. I felt super cheated when they didn't make a Blitz after making a Blitz arm for the Gold Astray. Okay, well, they wouldn't make a whole real grade just because they made one arm. Like, that was always going to be just a thing for the gold frame. Gonna buy a knockoff Shiranui Akatsuki to build my Hyper Zeta Gundam Hono anyways, as I need to strip the gold paint to red anyways. I think there's... Oh, wait, never mind. I was gonna say there's a Build Fighters version of the Akatsuki that doesn't have plating on it already, but that doesn't have the Shiranui pack, so that wouldn't work for you. Okay, Man Pig, see you later. The gold frame's Blitz arm isn't the same as the normal HD Blitz arm. Yeah, it is a slightly different arm. They would never reuse that for a standard Blitz. Asking for stylistic consistency is too big an ask. Well, I don't think it is in general, because the stylistic shift in Seed was ridiculously extreme. Like, obviously there's going to be little changes over time, but Seed went so hard into the pseudo-metal build aesthetic. And again, New Verka, people are fine with having the New Verka and like the Jigen or Gyaradoga. Yeah, kind of. I think the issue is more so, at least with Char's counterattack, it's like, oh, the two main suits are really detailed and then everything else is simpler. While with Seed, it's like a back and forth of like simple detailed, simple detailed, simple detailed, simple detailed, and it comes out really kind of scattershot and haphazard. I don't think stylistic consistency is too big an ask at all. If two suits from the same show are in the same kit line, they should look appropriately consistent. Yeah. And like, even with real grades, I will oftentimes not sticker up my real grades and not paint align them just so they have that simpler look that makes them fit in better with high grades. Because honestly, I feel like I don't really care about like the super high level of detail on real grades because they're so small that if I'm going to have that level of detail on a kit, I would rather it be on something bigger. HGC, Hyzak, and Bolinoxamon don't really fit together. No, they don't really fit that well together because there's a 25-year production gap between them, but I do think they fit together better than the old Seed and new Seed Master Grades. Joe baffles why the full armor double Zeta parts weren't recolored in anime-accurate colors. Well, I think it had something to do with there apparently being more tooling differences between the Sentinel and the TV version of that than some people realize. I've heard people say that there's like a lot more changes between them that would have made it a bit more of an expensive kit to make, so that could have had something to do with it, but as far as I can see, they look pretty similar, so not sure why they never made one. Baz isn't the FAZZ with a new gun, has a new head and all new legs among others. Okay, yeah, so there's some pretty significant tooling changes then. Won't fault you for being fine with it yet, it makes your life easier. That is true, yeah, I do kind of envy those that don't care about the stylistic consistency of their collections. I do care a lot. I think scale is very, very important, though. And, like, I'm not talking about little things like, oh, this is a 3/4 of a head taller than it's supposed to be. I mean stuff where it's like, this figure is this big and this figure is this big. Like, at that point, why are you even displaying them together? They don't even look like they belong together at all. If I have a bunch of models out on a shelf, I want them all to look like that within the context of that shelf, these guys are all coexisting together. So they should look stylistically similar. They should all be around the same scale. I don't want to see like big kit, little kit, tiny kit, SD Gundam, you know, random candy toy statue over here. I want a level of consistency. When are they going to handle the dual assault shroud? I think they're going to make it as a, whether they do it as a retail or P-Bandai kit is kind of up in the air. It's right on the border where I could see them doing it as P-Bandai, but it's also Seed, so I could really see them doing it as retail. It's kind of right in the middle, and I really hope they lean towards retail with it. Let me look at what we got here. Whoop, almost lost my knife. So we got big gun, alternate head, missile pods. I don't know if I'll build all the weapons for this tonight. I might stretch this out to another stream, just because there's a lot more accessories with this kit than I realized. Backpack would be too big if you wanted to go for a run and gun kind of look. I mean, you can just take the full backpack completely off. I think it looks pretty good though. I really like how this main body is here. His shoulders do feel a little weak, like it doesn't take a lot of force to move this up and down at all. Outward's pretty good. I do like the way they designed the shoulders, where this flap kind of covers up the gap, but then you lift it out, and it gives you some movement. Yeah, there's really weirdly inconsistent joint tightness on this, because you have the shoulders that are pretty loose, and then the elbows, you really have to like grab and twist these to get them to move. And they've also got this little extending mechanism in them for super punches. And I jerked off his arm too hard. Get that back on the peg. There we go. And I feel like that's going to be the fate of a lot of the joints in this kit that use a metal peg and a plastic hole, because eventually the metal's just going to stretch out the plastic. These pieces really don't want to stay in. Wait, is there a... Oh, hang on. I think there might be like a plastic nub that I forgot to trim off on this. Let me get that out of there. These pieces aren't fitting together, and I think it's because I think there's a nub that I forgot to remove. Yakushiki MG in East Asia retails around 50 converted. Yeah, that's quite a bit cheaper than it is in America. All our kits are a little bit more expensive over here. Let me grab the clamp. For kits that don't cooperate, this is my nuclear option. Like a glove. Look at that. Beautiful. Oh, you were talking about the high-grade gold frame, not the real grade. Okay, yeah, I could see. I see what you were saying now. That makes a little more sense. Just nuke the other shoulder real quick. Partially disassemble this. What did I just click on? Oh, I moved my overlay. There we go. Can't see what I'm doing. I'm just prying open this piece right now. Which you really shouldn't be doing with a hobby knife, because that's a great way to break the tip off and it can go flying and hit you in the eye. I haven't had that happen, but I've come very close to having it happen before, so it's probably not something you want to make a habit of doing. But I'm lazy and it's the tool I have on hand, so I'm going to go ahead and take that risk, regardless of how terrible of an idea it might be. I'm going to continue to do this off screen so I don't get banned by YouTube for promoting dangerous acts. RG line for me is just for the fun of detailing something really small and detailed. The most fun I've had painting a kit was the RG Mark II. I've never thought about painting real grades just because the tiny complexity of them just seems so annoying. Like I said when it comes to looking at the details, it's nice with MGs because they're bigger, and it's nicer from a view perspective because you can see the details a lot better when the kit's bigger, but it's also nice for working on the kit because if you're painting and detailing it and you're working on a larger canvas, everything's just bigger and easier to deal with. Remember the Faz, the molding boondoggle that has like an entire double Zeta in it? Yes, it does. You can build a weird hybrid. That's why it's $130. Yep. All true. To see why these two parts don't go together. Okay, I think that's as close as they're gonna get, even with the nuclear option. They just announced the torch for P Bandai. What's the torch? Is that like a crossbone thing? That sounds like a crossbone thing. RG God and high grade shuffle line suits look okay together. Yeah, the more recent real grades do actually look pretty nice with a high grade collection. They've toned down some of the ridiculous levels of detailing that the earlier kits went with. They actually look kind of nice together now. I wouldn't be surprised if you throw all your M&M, Skittles, and Reese's Pieces in the same bowl. Oh, come on. That cat's evil, but he's not that evil. Yeah, listen to these hips. Oh, wait, actually, you might not be able to, because I think the noise gate won't pick it up. But that thing creaks like a beast when you turn it. And also, when you lift up the front skirt, it pops this little side piece off. This little white piece right here comes right off. That's how slowly I have to move the leg because of how stiff it is. The knee is pretty smooth. The knee is pretty much perfect in terms of joint tension. It's exactly what I wish every joint on the kit felt like. You gotta be careful with the knee though, because this piece pops off as well. Almost every part of the body has that one piece that always pops off when you're moving it around. And the ankles are totally fine. The ankles are fine, the knees are fine, but then the hips are way too tight, the elbows are a little too tight, and the shoulders are a little too loose. I'd say the head's a little loose for general joint tension because it's just plastic on plastic, but it's just the head, so it's not holding up a lot of weight. Doesn't really matter in the long run. I don't buy Reese's, but not gonna lie, I don't see why you wouldn't mix chocolate with chocolate. Of course, Skittles are... Okay, thank you. I thought for a minute there that you were actually defending mixing Skittles and M&Ms, and I was like, okay, that might actually be a bannable offense at this point. I don't ban people in chat, but I would ban you for that. So, break out the champagne, everyone, because I mentioned earlier in the stream, we crossed 100,000 drop frames. I am pleased to announce that we now have 200,000 dropped frames, so absolutely nothing has gotten better. Thank you, Spectrum. Round of applause. Really appreciating your hard work. Not like I'd lose sleep if my